You walk into a store. A single tee runs you $5. 12 gets a dress into your hands. Less than what you'd spend on midday food covers everything. Tops, bottoms, even footwear. That thing ends up in your hands. It slips on just a time or two. 3 at most, only when it sticks around longer than expected. After that, it slips away behind your clothes. Maybe even lands in the bin. Just another day, really. A single low-cost garment, nothing more. Yet this truth stays hidden when you pay. Still, it surfaces only after the receipt prints. A single shirt priced at $5 carries hidden costs humanity continues to cover today. Money isn't part of the picture at all. This tale begins with speed. It grew from small choices, then swept across stores like wind through open doors. Yet behind every cheap tee hides hands that went unpaid in ways money cannot measure. Before fast fashion made its mark, there was a different rhythm to how clothes were made. A slower pace shaped everything back then. That earlier world holds clues to today's quick-turn clothing cycle. Looking at what existed previously reveals why rapid production feels so striking now. The past sets the stage without needing to be named. A long time ago, people treated clothes like something worth saving for. What you wore mattered more than just looks back then. Folks picked up cloth by the yard. Sewing needles moved through women's hands after work. Garments got fixed, changed size, passed to younger kids, then finally gave out at the seams. By the 1950s, nearly every brand still stuck to just 2 seasons. One dropped when flowers came back. The next arrived as leaves fell. Nothing more. Each item spent months in the making. Orders arrived slow, thought out. Fewer purchases happened. Items stayed in homes, used, worn, lived with. Cloth held worth since materials took effort to produce. After that, from the 1990s onward, things shifted. Something clicked for companies. They started seeing patterns. Faster sewing means lower prices, so trends shift quick. Styles change non-stop, pulling buyers back again. When outfits arrive quicker, shopping never really stops. Just not about fresh outfits at all. Out of nowhere, the older versions seemed behind the times. Fashion began to seem like something you could toss away. The business figured out how to get people thinking that way. They had a real knack for it. Those folks, sharp, steady hands, making things work just right. Zara came first, then H&M followed close behind. Forever 21 joined later, moving just as quickly. These names shaped how clothes reached stores in weeks, not seasons. Zara moved fastest of them all. Now it happens every fortnight rather than twice a year. Just 15 days can pass from sketch to shelf, where before the wait stretched into months. Folks didn't walk in looking for one thing anymore. Instead, curiosity pulled them through the door. Each visit, the shop seemed changed somehow. Built that way on purpose. After H&M came next. Not far behind walked Primark. Shine showed up too. Fashion Nova appeared just after. A crowd of others arrived one by one. Fast fashion had spread everywhere by the 2000s. The whole clothing world ran on it. Clothing made worldwide hit twice as much by 2015 compared to 2000. Back then, folks picked up clothes way more often, 60% above what they used 15 years prior, yet held on to every single item only half the time. Fashion shifted, once cherished, now just bought. What used to be kept got tossed instead. Items worn for years turned into quick purchases. The meaning faded along with how long things lasted. Someone had to cover the actual expense just to maintain those low prices. Someone else stood behind it all along. The human cost who really pays. A single t-shirt priced at $5 in a US shopping center begins its life far away in places where pay is painfully small. Workers stitching fabric there earned barely enough to survive, making the low shelf price possible through their hardship. The math only balances when human cost stays hidden beneath thin profit margins. Hidden threads connect each cheap garment to distant lives shaped by demand for less. What looks like a bargain carries weight that doesn't show on any tag. Bangladesh stands first. After that comes Cambodia. Next in line is Vietnam. Following behind, Ethiopia appears. Pakistan shows up at the end. Inside stuffy buildings, garment workers, mostly women, spend 12 to 14 hours on their feet. Pay too low to afford rent, food, or medicine comes after each week like clockwork. Yet occasionally within structures lacking safety. April 24th, 2013. Dhaka, Bangladesh. A sudden silence followed the crash of Rana Plaza, once 8 floors tall. Within its walls, 5 clothing factories hummed, crafting garments for big-name Western labels. The fall took only moments. More than 1,000 lives lost. Close to 3 times that number carried wounds instead of coffins. Fishers showed up in the structure one day earlier. Despite the closure notice, staff received messages to report as usual. Shaken, the planet stared in disbelief. People everywhere felt it like a cold hand on the neck. A pause spread through the crowd. Questions began to rise, quietly at first. What was happening became unclear. Someone stitched your shirt. What pain hides in those threads? Not every company kept its word. Yet a few actually got better. Some left, but kept everything the same. So long as people bought low-cost items, there was always a push to keep making things at the lowest price. The environmental cost the planet pays too. Out in the open, grief piles up faster than answers. Lives crumble one after another without pause. What remains weighs more than numbers can show. A different story shows up when you look at what it does to nature. Fashion releases roughly 1/10 of worldwide carbon each year. More than planes plus ships together manage. Around the globe, farming uses more fresh water than nearly every other activity. Only one sector takes a bigger share. One cotton t-shirt needs about 2,700 liters of water to make. For a single person, that amount could last more than 2 years as drinking supply. Once those low-cost garments are tossed out, now more quickly than before, the majority end up not being recycled. Fabric scraps pile into dumps or go up in smoke. Most never see a second life. Year after year, nearly 9 out of 10 clothes vanish this way. Far off in the Atacama Desert, clothes pile up like forgotten echoes under a relentless sun. From distant cities, they come. Shirts, pants, jackets left behind when options ran out. These heaps grow silently, fed by habits too rigid to change. Some say it's progress, others just see dust catching in fabric folds. A mountain of clothes rises while closets stay half full. Machines hum non-stop, stitching outfits faster than anyone can use them. Factories push fabric into stores that already overflow. Each season drowns us in new colors, new styles. Nothing really changes. The cycle spins without asking if we need it. Far too much trash piling up beyond what Earth can handle. That's when things shifted. People are waking up. Questions come up now that brands didn't deal with long ago. Younger buyers want things explained differently than before. Who made it here? Who made it? How much came back to them? Once you finish, what becomes of it? Once seen as just for bargain hunters, used clothing sites now draw millions. Platforms such as Depop, Vinted, and Thrift have surged past their old image. What felt rare a decade ago feels common today. Shoppers who once avoided secondhand now browse daily. Now showing up more often, small labels focused on openness and eco-care move quickly. Trust wins out. Spending climbs once buyers see exactly where cash lands. Change creeps into big companies now. Slow steps, sometimes shaky ones. Truth wobbles along the way. Yet something pushes, growing, refusing to quiet down. Fashion finds itself cornered by consequences long ignored. A moment arrives after years of delay. Folks pushing for this change turn out to be regular citizens, not officials or oversight bodies. Folks out buying things, scrolling feeds late into the night. Teens staring at a cheap shirt, then pausing, eyes narrowing, noticing something off. Questions began popping up right after. At what cost? This tale shows something real. What happens next might surprise you. Lessons hide where we least expect them. Every purchase is a vote. Built into every purchase is a quiet nod of approval. Walking off sends its own message, one about needing something different. Blame doesn't stick just to big companies. What really fed fast fashion? Year after year, people chose low prices instead of thinking deeper about impact. It isn't about fault. Markets simply move that way. Still, markets shift now and then, because those who buy things inside them decide where they go. Mistakes, they're allowed. Starting over from nothing isn't required. Begin by questioning more deeply instead of waiting. What matters grows clear only when curiosity leads. Lasting things come from picking carefully. Fewer buys often mean better picks. Quality sticks around when choices are slow. Those three little phrases might change everything should folks actually follow them. In an industry known for heavy pollution, what something costs shows up right there on the label, sewn into your shirt. Money spent on creating them stays hidden, always out of sight. Now you know. Should this clip shift your view on clothing even slightly, pass it along to someone who might get something from it. A tap on the like button wouldn't hurt either. Stories like these, real moments, real past, told without bending. Stick around. This is only the beginning. Until next time, start by picking what matters more. Look closer at choices you overlook. Each tiny pick builds into how things turn out.